Officials at the Freeport container port could result in additional employment. A man charged with housebreaking given a slap on the wrist. And a new policy creating tension as graduation approaches.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all, I'm Shashina Roll-Parkinson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, Freeport's transshipment terminal could be moving into full restoration soon. The container port has just received 3 new superposed Panamax ships to store cranes from China, bringing FCP's fleet size to 10 quake cranes. Here's more in this report. Officials at the Freeport container port are pleased that after 2 years since the devastating effects of Hurricane Matthew comes the arrival of the new quake cranes. The good news is this means that the container port will be back to full operations. Standing at 410 feet, these ZPMC cranes represent an upgrade from the current fleet, in which they are capable of remote control operation. The cranes will be 3 of only 5 in the region. The remaining 2 are slated for FCP's sister port in Mexico. Prior to the arrival of the cranes, FCP 11 engineers and 4 operators went to Oman and Shanghai for training in 2017 so that they would be ready to operate the new semi-automated cranes. FCP Port Director Lucian Lang says operating a full fleet size at the quay means that they will improve overall customer service with better reliability and performance. These are not the conventional quay cranes, he says, where the operator sits and operates in a cab. FCP Engineering Manager Charles Stewart says that the company's capacity will go back up to 100%. He says, with that, we can better by far accommodate the business of our customers and be able to put Bahamians back to work, and they will be able to work more consistently. The new cranes will be ready for operation in July after a period of commissioning. In news from the courts, the 8-month-long Barry and Sheena Johnson murder trial is coming to a close in the Supreme Court. 3 men are on trial for the death of the couple back in September 2015. The prosecution giving their closing statements to the jury today. Italia Hall has the details.
On Friday afternoon, the jury witnessed an exchange between Attorney Farquharson and the court. Attorney Farquharson was found in contempt of the court as a result of that exchange. On Tuesday morning, Justice Estelle Gray Evans addressed the jurors, telling them that is something that the court tries to avoid in their presence. She told the jurors that they must only make a decision based on the facts that were presented in the court, and they are not to make a judgment based on the conduct or the behavior that took place. Following Justice Evans' short address, Attorney Farquharson stood up and accused a few of the jurors, including the foreman, of making remarks while the judge was speaking on Friday. He said the court claims that they did not see it. Farquharson then called for the jury to be discharged. He says he believes there cannot be a fair trial with the current jury. Attorney Farquharson then requested a 15-minute break. Upon returning to court, Attorney Farquharson mentioned that the interruption on Friday was due to the insistence of Prosecutor Brathwaite, as he was referring to inadmissible evidence. Following that, Prosecutor Neil Brathwaite continued with his closing statement. Prosecutor Brathwaite gave the jury a summary of what the prosecution beliefs are as to how each defendant played some role in the crime which resulted in the death of Barry and Sheena Johnson. During his presentation, he was interrupted several times by Attorneys Sherlin and Farquharson, who had some concerns. Attorney Farquharson then accused Prosecutor Brathwaite of trying to deceive the jury. Prosecutor Brathwaite was told to continue with his closing by Justice Estelle Gray Evans. He told the jury that the case was not a drug investigation. It was about who killed Barry and Sheena Johnson, and his job as a prosecutor is to seek justice. He also reminded the jury that it has often been said during the trial that nobody was supposed to get hurt. But according to their surveillance video, Barry Johnson was thrown to the ground, and it was clear that there was an intention to use violence. Prosecutor Brathwaite told the 12 jurors, consisting of 4 males and 8 females, to be true to the oath that they have taken. Now, Prosecutor Neil Brathwaite is completed with his closing statement. Now that he is completed, Justice Estelle Gray Evans is expected to present her summation of the entire case to the jury on Friday morning at 11. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia Hall.
19-year-old Franco Carey getting an unconditional discharge today after pleading guilty to housebreaking and stealing. Carey of Ladyfish Street, Cavell Beach, was arraigned before Magistrate Charlton Smith in Magistrate Court Number 2 on 5 counts of housebreaking and stealing. All items stolen were recovered by police. He was ordered to pay a fine of $250 and was granted an unconditional discharge for all counts. The charges in connection to a number of housebreaking and stealing matters reported to police between March 13th and April 24th of this year. Another group of Cuban migrants found at sea, the U.S. Coast Guard vessel Robert Yaird handing over 15 Cuban males to immigration officials over the weekend. Reports say the Cubans claimed that they left home on Wednesday, destined for Florida, and were interdicted in the area of the Quezal Bank. The migrants were processed and flown to the detention center in New Providence. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues in just a moment.